Victory is not always winning the battle, but rising every time you fall. Never interrupt your enemy when they are making a mistake. If you build an army of 100 lions and their leader is a dog, in any fight, the lions will die like a dog. But if you build an army of 100 dogs and their leader is a lion, all dogs will fight as a lion. The main reason people fail instead of succeed is that they trade what they want most for what they want at the moment. Until you spread your wings, you'll have no idea how far you can fly. It is not necessary to bury the truth. It is sufficient merely to delay it until nobody cares. If you want to succeed in the world, promise everything, deliver nothing. Victory belongs to the most persevering. The best way to make everyone poor is to insist on equality of wealth. Envy is a declaration of inferiority. Impossible is a word found only in the dictionary of fools. Wise individuals create opportunities for themselves and make everything possible. History is a set of lies agreed upon. The amateurs discuss tactics, the professionals discuss logistics. Men who have changed the world never achieved their success by winning the chief citizens to their side, but always by stirring the masses. 6 hours of sleep for a man, 7 for a woman, and 8 for a fool. Death is nothing, but to live defeated and inglorious is to die daily. Once you have made up your mind, stick to it. There is no longer any if or but. I base my calculation on the expectation that luck will be against me. If you want a thing done well, do it yourself. The purpose of religion is to prevent the poor from killing the rich. Never ascribe to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity. You become strong by refusing to accept defeat and by transforming loss into gain, turning failure into success. In war, as in prostitution, amateurs are often better than professionals. The one who knows how to give praise also knows how to speak ill of others. The only way to lead people is to show them a future. A leader is a dealer in hope. Alexander, Caesar, Charlemagne, and I have established empires. But on what did we base the foundations of our greatness? On force. Jesus Christ established his empire on love, and millions of men would die for him at this moment. The fool has one great advantage over a man of sense. He is always satisfied with himself. Always treat your friends as if they could one day become your enemies. To truly understand a person's character, we must witness them during difficult times. The world suffers a lot, not because of the violence of bad people, but because of the silence of the good people. War is 90% information. I only see my objective. The obstacles must give way. The Jews are the master robbers of the modern age. I am surrounded by priests who constantly claim that their realm is not of this world, yet they seize everything they can. The people to fear are not those who disagree with you, but those who disagree with you and are too cowardly to let you know. You must not fight too often with one enemy, or you will teach him all your art of war. Anarchy is the stepping stone to absolute power. There is only one thing in this world, and that is to keep acquiring money, power, and more power. All the rest is meaningless. Terrorism, war, and bankruptcy are caused by the privatization of money, issued as a debt and compounded by interest. Nothing is lost as long as courage remains. God is on the side with the best artillery. The best cure for the body is a quiet mind. On victory you deserve a beer, on defeat you need it. The foolish dwell on the past, the wise on the present, and the enlightened on the future. Strategy is the art of making use of time and space. I am less concerned about the later than the former. Space we can recover, lost time never. The surest way to remain poor is to be an honest man. In politics, stupidity is not a handicap. Half of the people in the world are below average. An army of lions led by a sheep will never be an army of lions. If I were to give liberty to the press, my power could not last 3 days. Impatience is a significant obstacle to success. Treating everything abruptly results in gathering nothing substantial or only immature fruit that will never ripen. After making a mistake or suffering a misfortune, the man of genius always gets back on his feet. There are only two forces that unite people: fear and interest. The art of being sometimes audacious and sometimes very prudent is the secret of success. A woman laughing is a woman conquered. In politics, never retreat, never retract, never admit a mistake. Every hour of lost time is a chance of future misfortune. The best way to keep one's word is not to give it. Adversity is the midwife of genius. I alone am responsible for my downfall. I have been my own worst enemy, the cause of my own tragic destiny. History is written by the winners. Give me a well-educated mother, and I shall promise you the birth of a civilized, educated nation. Show me a family of readers, and I will show you the people who move the world. How can you have order in a state without religion? For when one man is dying of hunger near another who is ill of surfeit, he cannot resign himself to this difference unless there is an authority which declares, God wills it thus. Religion is excellent stuff for keeping common people quiet. A man will fight harder for his interests than for his rights. Read over and over again the campaigns of Alexander, Hannibal, Caesar, Gustavus, Turenne, Eugene, and Frederick. This is the only way to become a great general and master the secrets of the art of war. Love is the pastime of the idle, the recreation of the busy, and the downfall of the powerful. Moses revealed the existence of God to his nation, Jesus Christ to the Roman world, and Muhammad to the old continent. One should never forbid what one lacks the power to prevent. I have completed all the calculations. Fate will take care of the rest. Men are more easily governed through their vices than through their virtues. An order that is open to misunderstanding will likely be misunderstood. When people cease to complain, they cease to think. I fear 3 newspapers more than 100,000 bayonets. I hope the time is not far off when I shall be able to unite all the wise and educated men of all the countries and establish a uniform regime based on the principles of the Quran, which alone are true and which alone can lead men to happiness. To understand the man, you have to know what was happening in the world when he was 20. You cannot lead a battle if you believe you look foolish on a horse. How many apparently impossible things have been performed by resolute men who had no alternative but death? When a government is dependent upon bankers for money, they and not the leaders of the government control the situation. 10 people who speak make more noise than 10,000 who are silent. A true man hates no one. Great men are meteors designed to burn so that the earth may be lighted. Strong coffee, much strong coffee, is what awakens me. Coffee gives me warmth, waking, an unusual force and a pain that is not without very great pleasure. Whatever you ardently and passionately desire, that you obtain. The leader's role is to define reality and then give hope. Take decisive and strong action without any ifs or buts. Lies circle the earth while truth is still trying to put on its shoes. The Bible is not merely a book, it is a living power. Nowhere else can such a series of beautiful ideas and admirable maxims be found, which stand before us like the battalions of a celestial army. The soul can never go astray while it has this book as its guide. He who fears being conquered is sure of defeat. The Mohammedan religion is the finest of all. Strangers are potential friends. To be good, one needs loyal friends or clear enemies. The strong man is the one who is able to intercept at will the communication between the senses and the mind. Never awake me when you have good news to announce, because with good news, nothing presses. But when you have bad news, arouse me immediately, for then there is not an instant to be lost. Mankind's worst enemy is fear of work. You think you're too intelligent to believe in God. I am not like you. My success and everything good that I have done, I owe to my mother. Liberty is a need felt by a small class of people to whom nature has endowed with nobler minds than the mass of men. Consequently, it may be repressed with impunity. Equality, on the other hand, pleases the masses. If you know a country's geography, you can understand and predict its foreign policy. The art of war is to gain time when your strength is inferior. My decision to destroy the authority of the blacks in Saint-Domingue, Haiti, is not so much based on considerations of commerce and money as on the need to block forever the march of the blacks in the world. There is no place in a fanatic's mind where reason can enter. The bullet that will kill me has not been fired yet. The greatest general is he who makes the fewest mistakes. Imagination rules the world. The future destiny of a child is always the work of the mother. Those who have changed the universe have never done it by changing officials, but always by inspiring the people. Better to have an open enemy than hidden friends. Insubordination may be evidence of a strong mind. Nothing is more arrogant than weakness that feels supported by power. My downfall raises me to infinite heights. Occupation is the scythe of time. Every beggar shall be arrested, but to arrest a beggar merely in order to put him in jail would be barbarous and absurd. He should be arrested for the sole purpose of teaching him how to earn a living by his work. Muhammad was a prince. He rallied his compatriots around him. In a few years, the Muslims conquered half of the world. They plucked more souls from false gods, knocked down more idols, and raised more pagan temples in 15 years than the followers of Moses and Jesus did in 15 centuries. Muhammad was a great man. He would indeed have been a god if the revolution that he had performed had not been prepared by the circumstances. Leave the artillerymen alone. They are a stubborn bunch. I have observed in every campaign I have fought that there is a crucial window of time, typically between 13 and 15 minutes, during which the outcome of the battle is determined. By focusing on this specific time frame, I consistently achieve victory. Governments keep their promises only when they are forced, or when it is to their advantage to do so. There are no accidents, only failures to recognize the hand of fate. When I want to focus on a subject, I close all the drawers in my mind except for the one where that subject is located. When I'm tired, I close all the drawers and go to sleep. It requires more courage to suffer than to die. Here, gentlemen, a dog teaches us a lesson in humanity. A good sketch is better than a long speech. Courage is similar to love. It requires hope for sustenance. Die young, and I shall accept your death. But not if you have lived without glory, without being useful to your country, without leaving a trace of your existence. For that is not to have lived at all. Lead the ideas of your time, and they will accompany and support you. Fall behind them, and they drag you along with them. Oppose them, and they will overwhelm you. All great events hang by a single thread. The clever person takes advantage of everything, neglects nothing that may give them some added opportunity. The less clever person, by neglecting one thing, sometimes misses everything. Clever policy consists in making nations believe they are free. Ability is nothing without opportunity. Power is what they like. It is the greatest of all aphrodisiacs. Chess is too difficult to be a game, and not serious enough to be a science or an art. Force is the law of animals. Men are ruled by conviction. The superior man is never in anyone's way. One must change one's tactics every decade to maintain superiority. Too much preparation can stifle inspiration. Let her sleep, for when she wakes, she will shake the world. Many who dislike oppression are often found among those who like to oppress. Those who failed to oppose me, who readily agreed with me and accepted all my views, were those who did me the most injury. The hand that gives also has the right to take. Money has no allegiance, and financiers are without patriotism and decency. Their only goal is to profit. Great ambition is the passion of a great character. Riches do not consist in the possession of treasures, but in the use made of them. Impossible is a word to be found only in the dictionary of fools. The battlefield is a scene of constant chaos. The winner will be the one who controls that chaos, both his own and the enemy's. The more I explore the world, the more I am convinced that brute force is incapable of creating anything long-lasting. To be believed, make the truth unbelievable. Religion is what prevents the poor from murdering the rich. One must learn to forgive and not to hold a hostile, bitter attitude of mind, which offends those about us and prevents us from enjoying ourselves. One must recognize human shortcomings and adjust himself to them rather than to be constantly finding fault with them. Gentlemen, let's remember the words of a Roman emperor: the corpse of an enemy always smells sweet. The most dangerous moment comes with victory. I have so often been mistaken that I no longer blush for it. True wisdom, in general, consists in energetic determination. Knowledge and history are the enemies of religion. Never interrupt an enemy while they are in the process of destroying themselves. A government protected by foreigners will never be accepted by a free people. There is one kind of robber whom the law does not strike at, and who steals what is most precious to men: time. I have only one piece of advice for you: be the master. The greater the man, the less is he opinionative. He depends upon events and circumstances. The worse the man, the better the soldier. Great men grow tired of contentedness. Let go of your worries when you remove your clothes at night. Who saves his country violates no law. Success is the most convincing talker in the world. The only conquests that are permanent and leave no regrets are our conquests over ourselves. Men take only their needs into consideration, never their abilities. The strong are good, only the weak are wicked. In a great nation, the majority are incapable of judging wisely on things. It's not the size of the army, but the power within the army. America is a fortunate country. She grows by the follies of our European nations. Great men are meteors, consuming themselves to light the world. Rascality has limits, stupidity has not. All the women in the world would not make me lose an hour. History is a myth that men agree to believe. Courage cannot be counterfeited. It is one virtue that escapes hypocrisy. To make yourself understood to people, one must first speak to their eyes. To live is to suffer, and the honest man is always fighting to be master of his own mind. The heart may be broken, and the soul remains unshaken. I would rather suffer with coffee than be senseless. The secret of war lies in the communications. Fools have a great advantage over the wise. They are always self-satisfied. Great ambition is the passion of a great character. Those endowed with it may perform very good or very bad acts. All depends on the principles which direct them. When I had the honor to be a second lieutenant, I ate dry bread, but I never let anyone know that I was poor. God has given me the will and the force to overcome all obstacles. Oh well, no matter what happens, there's always death. Put your iron hand in a velvet glove. It would be a joke if the conduct of the victor had to be justified to the vanquished. A society without religion is like a vessel without a compass. Great men are never cruel without necessity. A journalist is a grumbler, a censurer, a giver of advice, a regent of sovereigns, a tutor of nations. 4 hostile newspapers are more to be feared than 1,000 bayonets. We often get in quicker by the back door than by the front. We walk faster when we walk alone. It is only by prudence, wisdom, and dexterity that great ends are attained and obstacles overcome. Without these qualities, nothing succeeds. Religion is excellent stuff for keeping common people quiet. Where the government is weak, military sway prevails. A man is known by his conduct to his wife, his family, and those under him. Flatterers and men of learning do not accord well with each other. In war, there is but one favorable moment. The great art is to seize it. Vengeance is without foresight. Give me a Turkish army, I will conquer the world. Medicine is a collection of uncertain prescriptions, the results of which, taken collectively, are more fatal than useful to mankind. Women are nothing but machines for producing children. I feel myself driven towards an end that I do not know. As soon as I shall have reached it, as soon as I shall become unnecessary, an atom will suffice to shatter me. Till then, not all the forces of mankind can do anything against me. In war, you see your own troubles, but you cannot see those of the enemy. You must show confidence. To avoid being surprised by victories, one should not dwell only on defeats. To extraordinary circumstances, we must apply extraordinary remedies. There are only two forces in the world, the sword and the spirit. In the long run, the sword will always be conquered by the spirit. There is a joy in danger. From triumph to downfall, there is only one step. I have observed that in the most significant moments, small things have always determined the outcome of the greatest events. I like honest men of all colors. Treason is a matter of dates. I would believe any religion that could prove it had existed since the beginning of the world. But when I see Socrates, Plato, Moses, and Mohammed, I do not think there is such a one. All religions owe their origin to man. You must not fear death, my lads. Defy him, and you drive him into the enemy's ranks. My true glory lies not in having won 40 battles. Waterloo will erase the memory of so many victories. But what will live forever is my civil code. A man who doesn't consider the needs of his men should never be given command. We may hesitate when going up, but never when coming down. When your enemy is doing something wrong, do not interrupt him. In order that a people may be free, it is necessary that the governed be sages, and those who govern, gods. It is artillery that makes war. If I always seem prepared, it's because before starting a task, I've thought long and envisioned what might happen. It's not sudden genius that guides me in unexpected situations. It's careful thought and preparation. Speeches fade, but actions endure. I would prefer to have a general who is lucky rather than one who is skilled. Suicide is a crime that is most revolting to the feelings. There is no reason that can justify it. It seems to come from a kind of fear that we call cowardice. How can someone claim to be courageous if they are afraid of the challenges that life brings? True heroism means being strong and resilient in the face of life's difficulties, no matter what form they take. The enemy wishes you to do, for this reason alone, that he desires it. Generals who save troops for the next day are always defeated. Normally, men rely more on their memory than their judgment. Wherever flowers cannot be grown, man cannot live. To do all that one is able to do is to be a man. To do all that one would like to do is to be a god. Doctors will be held accountable for more lives in the next world than even we generals. There is no strength without justice. War is the business of barbarians. A faithful friend is the true image of the deity. Character is victory organized. History is the creation of historians. I might lose a battle, but I will never lose a minute. Nothing is as important in war as a unified command. There is no real force without justice. A starving army is actually worse than none. Glory is temporary, but obscurity lasts forever. Better live a king than a prince. It is not the death that makes the martyr, but the cause.